Yes, people, welcome to Neverafoul, your Euro 2020 preview and predictions, but it gets no better than this. It's the semi-finals and England are still in it. That's why I'm wearing white, because I haven't got an England kit, people. It's in the post, maybe not, but we'll find out. But the bottom line is we're in the semi-finals, and today I'm joined by a great panel. CSCJ is on his way, but Kendall is here right now. Sam, my co-host, is here. Oh, wow, talk about right now. He made an entrance. I didn't even have to wait. He's here. Love it. So let me get through the intros. Big up Jay inside. So like I said, people, I've got a great panel who are going to give us the rundown for the semi-finals of Euro 2020, which starts tomorrow night. So I'm going to go around the clock, let everyone introduce themselves, and most importantly, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. It's free to support. So support myself, Sam, CSCJ, and Kendall, who's also part of the Football Terrace as well. But like I said, let's get everyone introduce themselves before we get into the show. So Jay, you've come, Mr. Puma Gang, all blacked out today. How are you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm blessed, man. How are you, bro? Big up everyone that's on the panel.
Love that. Swift, you drinking water there tonight?
Yeah, water, man. Water only. Good vibes.
Good vibes, energy. Love it. And I'm going to go over to Kendall as well. Do you know what? I know a lot about Kendall. Obviously, we've been doing a lot of podcasting over the time, but we've never been on a show together. So it's only right before England hopefully make the final that Kendall comes on. So Kendall, big up yourself for coming on. Really appreciate it. Shout out all your stuff, plug all your, your videos and everything like that, man.
No, thank you for having me. I can't believe out of all the millions of podcasts we've both done, we've never done one before together. That's
I know.
Absolutely insane. That's insane. But yeah, obviously Football Terrace as well. I'm at most of the time. Haven't been there for a couple of weeks because been ill. As I have just mentioned prior to the game, which was a bit of a wild one. But yeah, just Football Terrace is where I'm mostly at. Obviously, you can catch me Kendall Ronan on my social. I'm pointing this way, but it's actually this way. Catch me there on my socials as well. I have got my own YouTube channel. I don't upload on that often, but yeah, you can still go and check that out as well.
Perfect. Love that, people. Like I said before the show, make sure you're supporting Kendall, the Football Terrace, and everything at Neverafoul. It's easy to smash the like and subscribe button. Love that. Over to you, Sam, Mr. Headphones. He's ready. Sam, read that up there. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Yeah, good. Same old. Like I said to you off there. Nice long weekend in Birmingham. We're back now, ready to get the podcast and get that England vibe going, man. Yeah, where did you watch the game? Do you go up to Birmingham as well?
Yep, I was down watching. One of my mates was playing cricket, so we had a nice little cricket club set up down there. So that was good. So I got to watch him play
Alistair
cricket.
Cook.
Yeah, man, it was good.
Love that, love it. Got people in the comments as well. Mr. Headphone there says Blake. He's laughing at that one. Big up Cole, man, in the panel every single time. Yusuf says, what a lineup. Appreciate that, man. We always try and get good people, good vibes on Neverafoul. Smash them likes. And then Yusuf says, Andy Robertson doesn't play golf in regards to the title, because we'll get to it later, but is Luke Shaw the best in the world currently as a left back? We'll talk about that in the show. But people, let's get straight into it. We're going to talk about the quarterfinals briefly first before we get into the big semi-finals, of course. So Kendall, do you know what? I'll come to you first. Switzerland-Spain was the first one on the Friday night. That was 1-1. Went to penalties. There was a red card involved, which was a bit dubious, and a lot of people weren't happy with that. What was your takeaways from that game? And also touching on Spain as they're going to go into the semi-final as well on tomorrow night.
You know, there were so many average shouts of Spain's squad. And I'm like, obviously, I'm an Atletico fan as well, so I follow Spanish football quite a lot.
I saw you like the post of the kit earlier.
Yeah, I love it. It all got released today, 4 kits today, so I was happy. But everyone always gets on to me because they're like, "Oh, red and white, you support Newcastle, you can't wear red and white." I'm like, whatever. I do what I like, basically. Yeah, and there were so many Spain squads average, like. And I don't think they are. And I kept fighting the corner. I was like, I don't think they're average. I think there's a lot of quality in the squad. But for some reason, considering the manager that Luis Enrique is, he doesn't know his best 11 in terms of like going into a game. He kind of just throws like who he thinks will be okay in the game and like moves on. Then obviously later on in the game, the subs are made. But to be honest, they've got this far now, you know, with them kind of tactics, if that's where it is. Obviously, I'm not a manager, so maybe he doesn't know what he's doing, and I'm just looking at it thinking, do you really know what you're doing? I don't. I'm not an international football manager, so I'm not going to diss his tactics. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, you know what? Switzerland have held their own up to this point. I think they've played relatively decent football. I don't think anyone probably expected them to get that far. The there was obviously shouts in the beginning for, you know, Turkey are the dark horses, and they came bottom of their group. So
don't know who said that.
yeah,
No.
what was going on there? The real dark horses are Denmark, I think, at this point. But some people probably argue England, really, but it is what it is. But yeah, you know, I don't. Whether they haven't enough to get past Italy, obviously in the semis, is a different story. But yeah, the game was good. I always like a game when it goes to penalties, no matter who it is. I'm going to get stressed at like penalties and like wonder, oh my God, like stress out. But yeah, it was good. I felt really, really sorry for, was it Vargas, who was obviously, he's a very young player, missed the penalty. Fabian
Come on
Schär,
as well as a sub, didn't he, in the first half?
Yeah, of Newcastle fame as well, missed the penalty as well. So, you know, it is what it is. And I do always feel for them at that point when you miss a penalty, because it must be like the worst feeling, especially if you miss the last penalty, like to make you drop out. It must be like the worst feeling ever. But yeah, shout out Thiago as well, obviously from Liverpool, who went over to him at the end and was really classy. He was like, you know, stood with him for 5 minutes, calming him down, saying it was okay.
Yeah,
shout out to him. But yeah, we'll see what Spain do next in the semis. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to go, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get into that shortly. But now, great thoughts on that game as well. I think what you just touched on with Thiago, I think that's actually so important, because I always have a saying, even in everyday life, manners come free. So to go over and speak to someone who can, you know, console them, I think that goes such a long way. I love this one is here. We'll ask this at the end. You see that question there. Tanya, big up Tanya every single time. She says big up Kendall and the panel. I know she's been on Neverafoul a lot as well. So love that. And Yusuf says Spain deserve to win. I thought, Jay, I want to ask you a quick question on Spain, because it's so funny. But remember months ago, me, you and Dax were having a convo about Rodri starting and Busquets starting. However, Rodri started the tournament. Now Busquets has come in, like you said. Do you think that's the right way to go about things for Luis Enrique, with the experience of Busquets and the things he's won with Barcelona? Do you think that's the right move right now?
Yeah, 100%. I think with no Ramos in their side, obviously Busquets got mad experience. They need that. Like, obviously Rodri's had a good season with Man City, but Busquets has been doing it for many, many more years than Rodri. And I feel like, did he have COVID? Is that why he didn't start the minute? I think they had to wait for him.
Yeah, I think, I don't think he will actually. Yeah. And he's come back in, and I believe he's captain in the side as well now, I think.
Yeah, he's captain.
That's it. See, that's exactly that. So without Ramos, I think he's a big plus for them. And yeah, I think it goes without saying, man, what he's done at Barcelona and even Spain in the past. If I was Enrique, I'd bring him straight into the fold. And look, like you boys just said, he's the captain. So yeah, I think he's a class player as well. I think he's pretty underrated, to be fair. I think what he does goes under the radar. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like Jorginho. They're similar type of players. They don't really get the flowers, but if you actually watch them and take note of what they actually do and bring on the pitch, they're the reasons why teams have, like, say, Barcelona, and they have so many attackers on the field, because they're the ones that let their players. Do you know what I mean? They sit and drop. A bit like Rice for England in a way as well, but obviously...
Yeah, they allow the other players to express themselves, really. Do the simple jobs. 100. Yeah, I hear that. No, thank you. We'll go on to the Italy-Belgium game, because Sam, of course, you've got Kevin De Bruyne, plays for Manchester City, of course. The funny thing about Belgium, what I think is confused me a bit this tournament, is that they started off the tournament with Denier, Alderweireld, and I think they had Boyata at the back as well. They've gone back to their know-how, obviously Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and Vermaelen as well, which obviously he just seems to appear from nowhere all of a sudden. They've obviously lost to Italy. What was your takeaway from that game? Do you think it's right that a lot of people saying KDB's gone quiet? Do you think it was ineffective? I was actually really impressed with Jeremy Doku, to be fair. But what did you make of that game, obviously, before we get into the Italy-Spain game and the other quarterfinals as well?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game, actually, really open, a lot more open than I thought it would be. I thought it might be quite tight, quite cagey, but this Italian side, they just play, going both ways. They're defensively solid. They play with so much intensity, and they play like a club side. They look like probably the most well-organised team in the competition in terms of they've been playing together for many years, and a lot of the starting 11 have. Mancini hasn't changed it around too much. I thought they were well deserving their 2-0 lead, but I was surprised afterwards that they didn't shut the game off like Italian teams of the past have done, because that's when, for me, Doku, De Bruyne, Lukaku grew into the game, and they obviously got that goal back before half time, and then a couple of key chances after that Lukaku just couldn't stick it in. So
that's why he's the top. I'm going to drop it. This is why he's the top tier, because the little things like that, it's just do you know what I mean? He scores 30, but he misses them.
Yeah, I think that's a bit harsh, to be fair. I do think that's a bit harsh because Spinazzola got that block on, and do you know what? He should have put it away, but he still had a very good game. You know, those front three were menacing. Really, they could have scored a couple of goals at least during that game.
Did you think it was Italy's defense that were just really good on the night?
No, I don't think Italy's defense were good on the night. I don't think they were that good on defensively.
You more think it was Belgium that missed chances, basically?
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot more even.
Okay.
If you look how big those chances were, you know, to get that level of chance in a quarter final, like I said, I was surprised Italy didn't, you know, lock it down more. And I think as good as Chiellini and Bonucci are, obviously pace is not there on their side. And I think that showed in this game. And ultimately, Belgium were just wasteful, like you said about Lukaku, missing those killer chances, which has been unlike him for the whole season.
Yeah, okay, no, great point. So now I want to get through a few comments where they're booting off. Love it. Big up Laurie inside every single time. Says hold tight the panel and Jack, call yourself. I see you. Love it. Soups as well says, hey, big up this panel. And then Laurie, don't worry, Tanya, you're not been forgotten. He says, how can I forget Tan and Soups? And then we've got more here scrolling down. I love this comment here. Free in midfield. I don't know if it's Kojo, Cahill, whoever it is, even if it's a duo. Says this lineup scream, it's Gavin. I was gonna drop the song, you know, but I thought copyright. Can't be dropping that. Can't be dropping that
Not
one.
Again.
Not again. Yeah, not again. Innit? Big up Uncle Laurie. Love that. And Soups here says Chiellini. He's 230 years old. He'll probably still be going when I'm about 55, but there we go. Love it. We'll go into Saturday's quarterfinal before we go into obviously the semis. So it was obviously Denmark and Czech Republic. Kendall, what need you to touch on Kasper Dolberg? Because another player was not seeing much of the tournament at the start. Yusuf Poulsen was playing. He comes in against Wales, scores 2. And then again, 3 goals in 2 games, scores again against Czech Republic. So for me, he's keeping his place in the side. But I think great mental toughness from him because he's pretty young. I remember he played against Man United actually in Europa League final for Ajax before getting a move to Nice. He's kind of hit a plateau where his name's gone under the radar, but I think he's bounced back well. Do you think Denmark, you know, were good for their win? And do you want to touch on Kasper Dolberg and the way he's done since he's come into the side?
Yeah, to be fair, I think that game was arguably the most equal. I know obviously Spain was a draw, so you could say, well, that was equal, but I don't think that they put their chances away. I think that game was so equal. And the Czech Republic as well had like more shots than Denmark. It was just obviously unfortunate that Denmark ended up putting their chances away. Dolberg has been someone that was probably not on anybody's radar, let's be honest. I don't think anyone prior to the tournament would have said, you know, Dolberg's player of the tournament, whatever. I don't think that was ever going to be a thing. Same with Forsberg for Sweden as well. I think he's probably come up on a lot of people's radars throughout the tournament. But yeah, he's come in, he's put goals away, scored decent goals as well. They've been decent finishers. And yeah, I think he's going to obviously be popping up on a lot more people's radars this time round. There's going to be more people interested in him. I don't know what his deal is. He's not a player that, as I say, probably a lot of people know. Me either. I don't know much about him. But yeah, he's showing minerals. I just hope he doesn't come in against England and
you know
do the same. I hope he just have a nightmare.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't come through and give Maguire and Stones nightmares. I love everyone watching. People, make sure you're smashing that like and subscribe button. Make sure you're following Neverafoul, myself, Tarrant, MC, Kendall, CSCJ, and Sam as well, especially Feed the Goat, which is his Man City podcast. Jay, obviously we're going to be taking on Denmark, which we're going to get to a bit later on. That was a tight game. You know, Czech Republic, they gave it their all. I think they came with Patrick Schick early in the second half. He made it quite tense. It was one of them games where, like Kendall said, I thought they were pretty evenly matched, if I'm honest. Do you think Denmark, you know, would deserve it to go through? Or do you think Czech Republic were quite unlucky in the instance?
You know what, yeah, I think they're well drilled. Like, Denmark are well drilled. I think, for me, Czech Republic took too long to maybe go for the game. They moved Souček more further forward as soon as shit come off the field, and I felt like, raw. Why didn't they do that earlier with both players on the field? I feel like Souček for Czech Republic is 10 years at West Ham. I've noticed throughout this tournament. Obviously, he's got no goals in this whole tournament. I think he bagged a hat trick against Estonia just before this tournament started. But I feel like they kind of took away their goal threat there. I feel like you would have pushed him on next to Schick up front.
Yeah, they kind of restricted him
as the target man.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think that's a great point.
Once he moved further forward, Yeah, no, but once he moved further forward, he kind of started causing a bit more problems for Denmark. And I think they looked tired towards the last 30 minutes. Denmark looked ropey and tired. Obviously, I think what they did, 120 minutes the last game. Christiansen, another one, like the Danish Maldini for me, he looked knackered, absolutely shattered. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, like, they're a well-drilled side, but yeah, I expected more from Czech Republic, if I'm honest. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think it was one of them games I look at. Even when I look at the teams now, obviously they've got Kufal, Suchek, Patrick Schick, who's had another very good tournament as well. And it's so funny with him because I think he done really well at Sampdoria before getting his move to Roma. Then a bit hit of a plateau. Then he went to Leipzig, then Leverkusen. And it's so weird that certain players just suit certain clubs. So maybe he'll get his move or he might stay where he is at Leverkusen. But I just thought, yeah, it was one of them games. I didn't know who would go through, but whoever went through, we're going to get to it. I know is going to make it tough for England because they're both quite rugged. And I always think when England come up against them type of teams, it's sort of got 1-0, 1-all all over it, which hopefully it won't be with 60,000 fans at Wembley. But of course, we're going to talk about the Italy-Spain semi-final. But last but not least, Sam, I just want to get your thoughts on England because I know we're all going to want to talk about England. Everyone in the comments is going to talk about England. But England-Ukraine. I said, last time we played Ukraine, it was 1-0, I believe, Rooney with a glancing header back in 2010 or 2012. We absolutely dismantled them. We were all worried slightly about going to Rome. Obviously, we had about 2,000 fans there. English fans couldn't travel over. Sterling, great pass, by the way. I know he's a Man City boy, but I don't see him doing them sort of intricate passes like that. That was a great ball. Kane got us up and running within 5 minutes, and the rest was a brilliant job. We couldn't have wanted anything more. Did it surprise you how well England done in that game and sort of getting the job done within 50 minutes?
Yeah, and how convincing it was, definitely. The individual performances, you mentioned Kane and Sterling there. Declan Rice was unbelievable as well in midfield. The back four as well overall. Obviously, we haven't conceded any goals yet in the tournament, which is crazy. And I know people say it was Ukraine, but you go back through all of England's games, you look back through previous rounds in this tournament. Tournament football, it's still top team, there's still elite players. This Ukraine team, they're not amazing, but they're still going to be difficult to beat, difficult to play against. And you look at England games in the past where we've come up against this sort of team in the knockouts or in the group stage, and it's been frustrating. It's been slow. The tempo's not been there. There's not been kind of many patterns of play, that sort of thing. So to actually watch a convincing performance and a 4-0 win as well, and I think I read this is the first time that England have ever scored 4 goals in a knockout game since 1966. That's the last time they scored 4 goals in a knockout game. So we got to give them credit. We got to give them credit. It was a wicked performance, and to be able to get to 50 minutes, job done. All the players with yellow cards came off. Rested Kane, rested Sterling. That's important in tournament football going forward. We need to carry that momentum. And I just saw it literally couldn't have gone any better for England. You
literally just took my next question to Kendall right out of my mouth, because I was about to say it was a great performance, which I know you were going to talk about, so professional. And that one there, I didn't know England not scored 4 in a knockout tie, which is great. But I think before we get into the semi-final, what I wanted to touch on is Gareth Southgate does get his criticism, right? But to have the game wrapped up by 50 minutes and then to make them subs, which I thought was brilliant, to rest them before we go into a semi-final, I thought that was great management from him. And Kendall, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought Southgate's management was like in game instead of before the game, picking the side.
Yeah, all of those little we haven't done this. It's always since 1966. This time round, no one scored 2 goals in a game since 19. That's not true, but that was the first thing I could think of. Oh my god, it's driving me insane because I'm just just stop jinxing everything. Just stop. But, you know what? Southgate's had his fair share of criticism from me. I've learned my lesson now because every single time I'm on, the player will go and do something or will win. So I'm I'm never going to moan again about the lineup. Just trust in Southgate. I think his in-game management has definitely gotten better. Over the I wouldn't even say over the tournament, just over since the last tournament, his in-game management, obviously we haven't had one since the World Cup, but he's just getting a lot better at reading games. He's not afraid to switch up a team if he thinks that we're going to be better with a 4 at the back, obviously against Ukraine, and we would have had 5 at the back. We've done that throughout the tournament. He's not afraid to, switch right back. So Kyle Walker's played there, Trippier's played there. He's also played left back. And I really do think that he didn't even have to bring on Grealish, didn't even have to bring on Foden this time around. The game was wrapped up. I've not seen us control a game to that level and that for that length of time for a lot of years, like not even under Southgate, like even prior to Southgate, I've not seen England control a game to that level. And, you know, everyone's always going to say, oh, it's only Ukraine, but they've obviously done decent. They've got this far.
Yeah, you can only beat who's in front of you. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. You can only go from one game to the next. I think Southgate said that himself. So, yeah, I'm really, he knows what he's doing, which is like probably a big, like, wow to a lot of people, including me. Everyone's always like, you know, fraud, waistcoat, whatever. I always call him waistcoat Bruce because that's just what it reminds me of. But yeah, I think I really can, you know, trust in him at the moment. I think he knows what he's doing. Denmark is probably going to be arguably I know people are going to say Germany, but I think it's going to be arguably our toughest game yet. Because as you say, they're rugged, they're a hard-fought team. They go out and they basically come into a game. Whereas we kind of sit back and, you know, we try and control the game. They don't. They go on and their only thing is to win. And they're not bothered how they do it. They just go in to win. So I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on us. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But, you know, trust in Southgate. I can't believe I'm even at this point of the tournament where I'm saying that. But, yeah, trust in Southgate. That's what we've got to do now.
Yeah, no, I think it was great. I echo what you guys say. We went in there, done a professional job. I think the way he's utilised the squad, for me, Southgate has been one of his main assets. I think for him to let Sancho sign for Man United and then he's brought him into the starting 11, and I like it because Zinchenko plays for them, obviously, they have a left back, but he comes inside. We exploited that space. I thought, yeah, like you said, with the change as well, I think it just couldn't have been any better. No injuries. England haven't conceded in the whole tournament yet. I think it's the first time we've gone 5 games in a major tournament without conceding. I'm just going to get through a few comments, and Jay, I've got a quick question for you before we come into the semi-finals. People, make sure you smashing the like and subscribe button. You're watching Neverafoul. Myself, Ty, with Kendall, Jay, and Sam in the building. Soups here says, I think the Denmark game is going to be tougher than we anticipate, but it's coming home. Big up Simon says all of you lot know ball. Thank you very much. Make sure you continue watching the channel then. Magic Mike says, not impressed by Sancho. And that's the question I'm going to ask you in a second, Jay. Obi says, England haven't played any real teams yet. We only can beat who's in front of you. We play Germany still, and Germany still named, you know, the name still carries weight, and they're still going for a rebuild, but they've still got some good players. Cass says, looking back on when we first met, I could not escape, and I'm not going to start MCing Southgate lyrics. I love it. Yusuf says, Germany and Croatia are real teams, and we've got a little debate going on now with that comment there. Comments are flying. I'm going to try and get through a few more. Lambs is saying Southgate out. Jay's like, why Senegal? Oh my God, it's absolutely booting off right now. Like Dap says, big up Dap. I know he's controlling the tweets here for me on here. Says 6 likes away. Smash that keyboard now. Love that. Smash that. Smash that. Listen, 3 lines is on repeat. And then we've got another one here from Double A. Says, I can't remember the last time I watched England and thought they could score every time they went forward. Was great to watch. And a lovely little kind of comment for you as well. Kendall here says, Kendall, agreed. Denmark are up for this times 100. This isn't only an Eriksen thing. They have a swagger about them. Interesting to see how Southgate approaches the game. Don't worry for in midfield. We are definitely going to come to that. Jay, yeah, before we come on to the semi-finals, which we'll talk about the Italy game first, which is obviously tomorrow, there was a comment that said, not impressed by Sancho. Now, obviously, he's just signed for United. I know that you wanted him at the club, I believe. Obviously, not as your main transfer, of course, at Chelsea, but you would be happy if he signed Sancho. What did you make of his England debut, like starting debut at the Euros? He's frozen. I thought he was going to give us a grand entrance there. You kept me on anticipation.
Am I good? Am I good?
Yeah, all good.
Am I good? Yeah. I froze like Sancho on his debut, bruv. Really?
Yeah, link that in.
No, you know what? Yeah, like I don't think he warrants a start on Wednesday night. Personally, like I expect a lot more from him, and I feel like he weren't direct enough. I don't think he got to the byline and put balls in enough. Like if you watch him for Dortmund, he does that all the time with Haaland in the middle. When you got someone like Kane, I expect him to do the exact same, and I didn't see it. I felt like he kept going back to Walker quite a lot of the time, and I thought if there's any weaknesses or anything I was kind of unimpressed with on that game against Ukraine was our right-hand side with Kyle Walker and Sancho. I wouldn't start either of them against Denmark. I'd take them both out of the team. I'd bring in Saka or Grealish, and I'd bring Reece James straight in for Kyle Walker. But yeah, I wasn't impressed, man. I've seen a lot of him this season, and I expected more from him. Like I think we saw one big ball up at the halfway line and beat like 2 or 3 players. but that was probably the only time really he was direct and willing to beat his man.
Okay, Sam, do you want to echo anything, or do you want to? Because I know, off the analytical point of view, I know you'll watch Sancho from that side. Is there anything you want to say? Daps here says he's only played one game. Come on. What's your response to Jay's thoughts on Sancho?
It's a difficult one to judge, Nick, because he's only played 6 minutes in the tournament before this. I don't think he did as bad as people think. He wasn't amazing. I think he was doing his job in terms of keeping the play moving. He wasn't, whipping crosses in a lot, because I think he just wasn't told to do that. I think he was told to keep it simple a lot of the time and then try and run at players when he could. He could have been a bit more exciting, maybe a bit more expressive, but I think he linked up quite well. He loves a little give and go. That's what I did notice. Loves popping it off, popping it around the corner, giving it back, and he made a few little interchanges across the box, moving things about. So I think he was, fairly bright. It wasn't, unbelievable. Didn't score, didn't get an assist. There's some of those key stats that really make people stand out in these sort of games. But I think for the first game of the tournament, slotting in a 4-0 win, I think he got the 90 minutes as well. He hasn't actually played that much for England, really. So I was shocked he stayed, really, to be honest, because it was a little bit kind of out of the blue sort of thing. But I think what Cass is saying there, I think he did well into spaces. I'd probably give him a 7 out of 10. In fact,
United fans in the comments, boy.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, do you know what? It's a funny one, because obviously I'm not going to try and be biased speaking as a Manchester United fan, but I watched Sancho enough, and I'll say it for these people if you've not watched Trafford Tunnel, which is our Man United podcast, and Neverafoul. But what you're going to get from Sancho is he's not going to be like a Cristiano Ronaldo, where he's going to get the ball, Wilfried Zaha, he's going to take on 3 or 4 man. What Sam said there, Cass, is exactly bang on right. He's going to be good in tight pockets. He's a very intricate player. What I class him as is sort of like a playmaking combination winger. He's going to come inside in pockets and nip off little 1-2s and open up space for others. And I think that's what we're going to see more of him. Especially when you're watching him at Man United, I think players like Bruno and Pogba, Martial, they're going to really link up with him well, because he's got the IQ. And I think even though he's only 21, his IQ is levels above a lot of other players. And I think, for him to get a start for England after getting the Man United move, I think that's good for his confidence. I think to come in and play in a 4-0 win, if it was 1-1, I can understand if there was a few people having eyebrows about Southgate's selection, but he's done his job. And I think what that gives us now going into the Denmark game, which we'll come to after the Italy semi-final, like I said, is it gives us options. And I think him getting a good 90 minutes under his belt, if it is going to be a tight game against Denmark, we need people that are fit and ready to come off the bench. Mason Mount's had minutes, Grealish has had minutes, Foden's had minutes, Sancho's had minutes. Southgate's been smart with that. And I think it's only going to help us later down the line. But I think right now, England are flooded with talent, and a lot of it in similar areas, which is the wide areas right now. I know we're not talented as much in sort of the defensive midfield area or the centre-back area, but, we're making good of what we've got. And hopefully, like I said, with you guys echoing it, we can get into the final. What we're going to do now, people, is we are going to get into the semi-final talk now. That was a brilliant 28 minutes talking about the quarter-final review. Like I said, make sure you're following Kendall, make sure you're following Jay, Neverafoul, Sam, and myself as well, as we get you through to semi-final talk. So Italy, Spain, tomorrow night. Oh my God, comments. Yep, you're right, Jay. It's the Man United people. Ty is the greatest tie on all based on this alone. Big up, big up, big up. You couldn't have said it any better. And then
I'm not going
saying,
to sugarcoat performance.
Nah. We're here to all debate. There's no rights or wrong. It's just a football podcast. Of course it is. And Jadon Sancho, hopefully will have a lot of time to come good for England and Manchester United as well. And Super G says, high expectations or hate. I can't tell. Soups is the king of his comments are just... Oh, he cracks me up, man. He's an absolute legend. He absolutely, he even gets me vexed sometimes in a good way. Big up, Jay. He says it's coming home. Mr. One Man Up, smile, please. And then team selection will be very important. So let's just get into it now, people. We're going to talk about Italy and Spain. So please let us know what your thoughts are on this. Anything you want us to discuss. But Kendall, I'll come to you first on this. Italy, Spain. Italy unbeaten in 32, I believe, under Roberto Mancini. It's so funny because I think in the World Cup or Euros before this, they didn't even qualify. So for Mancini to come in and, turn around things like he's done, bring in play. Look, oh God, your dog doesn't like Rob Mancini, Sam. I might have to not mention Mancini, but obviously,
we love Mancini in this house.
Oh, you do. That's probably why he barks.
Yeah.
I love it. Jason the tweet and get your army in a cut. I love this. But yeah, what I was going to say is obviously Italy, into the semi-final, unbeaten in 32, hardly conceded any goals except the goal against Belgium, of course, which was a penalty. It's set up now for an interesting semi-final because you said it perfectly. Spain, no one spoke about them. No one had many expectations. But if you look at chances created this tournament, they've been peppering the goal. So how do you see this one going? What if you look at this game? What's the key for you for either side winning? Is it formations? Is it player personnel? Give us your take. And big up, but just before you come into it, Kendall, sorry, big up Jay Gordon for the super chat as well. Much appreciated. Love your support every single time, man.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a case of they're going to match each other. Obviously, the two absolutely unbelievable managers, Mancini and Enrique, both like top level elite managers. It's going to be interesting because obviously Spinazzola, who's been like one of Italy's main players this whole tournament, is now out for several months with his Achilles tendon that he's done. He's now out, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes in for him. Because as I say, he has been playing out from the back from them a lot. He has been creative with his play a lot. So that'll be interesting to see what they do there. Immobile's kind of lagged off a little bit. He started off really, really well at the beginning of the tournament, and he's lagged a little bit. So whether he's going to come back in and light things up again, I really don't know. Jorginho's been absolutely phenomenal this whole tournament. Really, he's very like an Aspilicueta guy for me. So like he does a lot, but gets minimal flowers for it.
Yeah,
for some
he
reason.
does the simple things. The simple things are so important. Yeah, the simple things are so important.
Yeah, but he's been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I think they'll be very equally matched, despite the fact that Italy may have looked more, I don't know what's the word, more exciting throughout the tournament. I think they'll just tactically be very well matched. For me, Italy's style of football is a lot more fluid than Spain's style of football. Because obviously, I don't think Spain, even though they have been peppering the chances, I don't think they're as clinical in front of goal. With the likes of Morata and things, he always seems to, come clutch at the end. But yeah, I think it'll be it'll be a really, really interesting game. It'll be good. I don't think it's going to be, a 3-3-4. I don't think it's going to be a goal fest at all. I think it's just going to be very rigid. They're going to be really composed in their styles and in their formations. And I think we're going to see a lot of good football.
Love that. That leads me perfectly into a question for you, Jay. I'm just going to get through a couple comments. Double A says, it's pasta versus paella. You know what? I know he's had that one in his notes all day. Sorry. Dap says, yeah, Jay God, we appreciate it. Love it. Free in midfield says Italia. Would Kendall's loyalties be torn if Spain get through to play England? Do you have links? What's that quick answer to that one?
So I don't have links to Spain necessarily. I just follow Atletico. I have since I was 9 years old. I went to see a game on holiday when I was 9 and fell in love with Fernando Torres. So followed them ever since. But I don't have any ties to Spain necessarily. So the national team doesn't really bother me. I just like some of their players.
Okay, yeah, there you go, Soups. She was answering that quick and fast. Yeah, I'm going to come to you after because I've got a next question for Sam, but I definitely want to ask you something, Jay, especially with Chelsea related. But I've got a topic here, which is about Spinazzola and the injury. Kendall just touched on it here, but Sam, a lot of people are having Spinazzola in their team of the Euros so far. He's been brilliant for Italy, and it's so funny as well because we played Roma in the Europa League, and it's weird how he didn't stand out. But then you go to a team like Italy, well drilled, you've got better players around you, and he's had a tournament of his life, and it's funny because he is a bit like Aspilicueta, where he plays on the left, but he's actually a right-footed, and I'm not a fan of that. But if it works, it works, and especially has for Italy. How much do you think this injury is going to impact them in the semi-final? Let us know in the comments, people, as well, because it's very likely that Emerson's going to come in, obviously at Chelsea at the moment. Do you think this changes the way Italy approach this game?
I think it's going to change the way they attack for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I think Spinazzola's been so huge, providing that outlet, giving that width, even though he's right-footed. He's been given that space on the left-hand side, and Italy have almost attacked with like a little bit of a front five because Insigne comes inside along Immobile, Barella moves up alongside Immobile as well, getting in the box like he showed at the weekend, and then you've got either Chiesa or Berardi holding the width on the other side. So it's going to be key to see if Emerson can do that, or whether they're going to have to try and change it up a little bit, maybe move Insigne a bit wider and get him to hold the width. So yeah, I think it is quite a big blow thing because he's been such a obvious kind of point of their attack and how they've played and how they've kind of got round teams and created chances. So yeah, I think it's going to be going to be a big loss for him. And I mean, that type of injury, I think everyone's been gutted because he's been one of the players of the tournament. I think wing backs like him have been a feature of this tournament. And for him to get such a horrific injury when, let's face it, he deserved to play in this semi-final. And you saw the reaction of the Italian players when he got back with the team as well. So
This
yeah,
comment
it might affect him.
Someone still in Twitter, he's better looking Zappacosta. Do you know
Zappacosta
what?
is a name I've not heard for a long time.
Wow. He
Throw
definitely
back a couple of years.
He definitely come and went. Got a lot of people watching right now. People, make sure you smashing that like and subscribe button. We love your support and Neverafoul. We've got lots of channels and a lot of things coming this summer as well. So there's lots of hosts involved as well. And if you ever want to get involved, just drop us a message on Neverafoul on Twitter as well. And we'll be more than happy to get back to you. What do you think though on Emerson coming in? Do you think that, you know, he's going to be ready? Like, you haven't played a tournament, well, you haven't played hardly any minutes in the whole tournament, and now you're coming in against probably Ferran Torres, who's going to play on the right-hand side for Spain. Do you think he'll get on okay?
It's a tricky matchup for him. I think I haven't seen a great deal of at Chelsea because he didn't get a great deal of minutes, but Mancini trusts him because the amount of game time he's got this season, you'd think that he wouldn't make most squads. So Mancini obviously backs him and trusts him. So I think he'll be pretty solid. Whether he can offer the same attacking, threat that Spinazzola did, I'm not sure. But there's lots of different elements in this game which are very interesting. How the midfield matches up as well. It is midfield. Obviously, we've mentioned them so much on these last few podcasts, but also Spain, Koke, Busquets, and Pedri, who I think has been unbelievable. I've just read a stat before this that Pedri's covered the most ground of any player in the Euros this tournament. And for someone of 18, I just think he's just been unbelievable for 18. The maturity that he showed. Pedri has just been off the scale good for me.
It's funny. Look, I think his contract runs out next year at Barcelona, to be fair. Of course, they're going to tie him down, but it's just interesting that they've let the situation kind of materialise like that.
It's weird because I say recently signed him. They signed him a couple of years ago from Las Palmas. So it's kind of weird they've let him get in that situation already with his release clause in his contract. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I do think they're going to go with a Busquets, Koke and Pedri midfield. And I think that's going to be the battle here, because I wanted to come to this question for you, Jay. Top 3 best midfielders in Europe, and Thiago has to start. But I wanted to touch on Jorginho. Yusuf cracks you up. I wanted to touch on Jorginho because he's won the Champions League, of course, with Chelsea. And if I might think I'm wild, but I've just saw this on Twitter earlier. If he now goes and wins the Euros with Italy, you're going to probably laugh. But do you think he's in the shout as a Chelsea fan of the Ballon d'Or?
No, man.
Oh, he said it.
Why not? Because we were doing Kante shouts. We were like, oh, Kante Ballon d'Or. He won the Champions League if he goes on and wins the Euros with France. So why not Jorginho?
Because Kante's had a more of a solid season than Jorginho, to be fair. Jorginho's only come in and started playing what I expect from him when Tuchel come in and change the system. But you know what? If there's going to be shouts, fair enough. But Kante's done it for seasons on seasons as well. And Kante's been Kante he was started under Lampard, whereas I don't think has been as consistent as Kante throughout the season. But I don't know, innit? I get what you're saying, Kendall. I fully get that. But
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch Chelsea too deeply to understand like the different roles between Jorginho and Kante. But yeah, that's just on the subject. Yeah,
that's why I asked it, because it's not even. Yeah, Rona's in the comments saying, "Ty, what you talking?" Now it's not me. I'm just saying I've seen quite a few tweets about it today. Like Kendall said, if people say Kante, people are saying Jorginho, Champions League, and if he won the Euros. I'm just asking the question. That's what I'm here.
I'm not going to gas it. He's one of my favourite players, and he's probably if they win it, then he should get player of the tournament. But Balloon d'Or shows, I think that's a bit far. You get me? But it's what it is.
Nah, fair enough. Respect that. And my main question for you as well is with Morata, former Chelsea player, of course, such a hit and miss striker. I think he's one of them strikers that, for me personally, like, he's always going to be that sort of nearly man. He was at Real Madrid as well, which is crazy when you grew up when he was younger, of course. Then he went to Chelsea. He was linked to Man United as well. And I don't put him in that elite level of striker, but Spain right now have gone from having a Fernando Torres, a Raul, I'm trying to think of David Villa, that's it. And then, you've got Morata now, and he's leading the line. He scored a few goals this tournament, but for me, he's the type, when he goes one-on-one, you're never confident he's going to hit the back of the net. However, he still continues to lead the line. But in the last game, he was subbed off in the 55th minute for Gerard Moreno, of course, won Europa League with Villarreal. Who do you think Spain should go with tomorrow night? Is it Morata? Is it Gerard Moreno? Let us know in the comments as well, people, because I think Luis Enrique's got quite a big decision to make.
Moreno, bro. I think his stats this season speak for themselves at Villarreal. I don't rate Morata, bro. I think the geezer's a dead baller. I think he's been robbing people for a living, mate. Like, really. Like, the prices, the wages and that he's been getting for the last few seasons is ridiculous. Like, and lucky we have Marina at Chelsea, and she managed to do a madness and recoup 60 million for him. Like, I think he's got a weak mentality. Yeah, like, how's he done that? I don't even know that. But yeah, he's got a weak mentality.
He's
like,
had this tournament as well, and Atletico. So Juve have literally just said that they're going to take him for another year. I'm like, really? Are you really going to do that? That's a little bit wild to me. He's tax fraud. I'm sure he's honestly tax fraud. That's the only reason I can think of for why he keeps getting these big moves.
100%. No, listen. He's always offside as well, man. Like, listen, I don't rate him at all. I think he's dead. Like, he's full on dead. I'm so glad we saw him as well. And he's got a weak mentality, man. You can see it as well. Like, when it ain't going his way, that's the reason why I can respect Werner, because you know what, he might miss a chance, but his head don't drop. Players like Morata and that, you can see it in them. Do you know what I mean? They ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? They ain't got nothing out of them. So yeah, I'd play Moreno.
You're playing Moreno. It's interesting. I'm looking at all the comments here, and they've booted off. So some people are saying Moreno easy, some saying both crap. We've got here another one saying both crap. Let's get through a couple of these. Another one is just another Immobile. Shocking. Man United will still take Morata away.
I'm the same level as Morata. Oh, Cass, I'm not sure about that one.
Laurie, we're both here, by the way, so just be careful, please.
He is sour, bro, tonight in the comments. He's sour, bro. I don't know what's up with him. Has he been watching highlights of the Europa League final or something, man? Go and have a tea, bro.
Cup of tea, 2 sugars, make sure. Morata was like promoting. Oh my god, these are funny. I didn't think this question would boot off like this. Moreno, but he's not had enough match time in the Euros for me. Villarreal probably rubbing their hands at how fresh he'll be for the start of next season. Roland's laughing. Morata over Martial. Hey, behave yourself, people, man. And then here's Roland, me and Ty up front over them two. Oh yeah, do you know what? I echo that. If I could dust down the top and the pace, I've still got the pace. I'll be deadly. Don't worry about that. We've got Daps here says, imagine this Spanish squad. None of us rate might win the Euros. And this is the thing. Like I said it with Belgium before they got knocked out the last round. It's always sometimes the teams that have no pressure, because Spain have notoriously had a lot of pressure with the reputation. This year, no one was speaking about them. Belgium were in a similar situation because they were rated for the World Cup and Euros before, had such a good tournament, and then got knocked out obviously by Italy. But then Italy, not spoken about. Now they could be in a final. So it's very interesting how tournament football works. And I think Sam echoed it perfectly. Before the tournament started, it's not about how well you play. It's just about getting the results. And if it means 1-0s or clean sheets throughout the tournament, it will get you to a final. And that's when your name is spoken about. So love that one here. Got another comment from David. Says Morata is definitely a lot of images. I'm trying to work goals, Casper, whatever they are, in people's foods. The fact he's played for the top 6 teams in the world is crazy. I don't believe in Juju, but my guy has definitely love that. I love that. To be fair, it's crazy that he has played for so many top clubs. Just gonna get for a few more comments. Sorry, people, because they are booting off right now. If we win the Euros, Kendall needs to give Southgate a big apology. Maybe she might do another foul.
Yeah, I said already. Like I've already apologized, because now I just trust what he does, and until it goes wrong, then I'll have a go again. But at this point, we're all right. We're okay. I am very eating a humble pie right now about Southgate.
We'll see. We've got to win it first. Easy chance to get to the final, which we're going to come to the semi-final in a moment, people. I know you've got Love Island, but please stick with us and you can do catch up. Don't worry about that. You can do catch up.
Love Island's boring, man. It's so dead this season. You don't need to go and watch that. You don't need to.
Exactly. There you go. Kendall's just dropped it. What do you say, Jay?
Yeah, bun Love Island, man.
In it, we're talking about real stuff here, man. Love it. And then I love this one as well, because this is so true. Did anyone clock Immobile literally laying down, faking an injury? They score and they get up and he's just literally running off. I hope the refs see that, because if he goes down tomorrow trying to get a penalty, I want the ref to see that European way when they do this. They just run off like I love them ones. But people, what we'll do is if you can let us know your prediction for Italy, Spain. I'm going to update the predictor. Sam, I'm going to come round the clock and go to you first. Who wins tomorrow night? Italy or Spain? Hello?
Italy.
Oh, he's there. Oh, I was thinking, what happened there?
Yeah, I'm going to go
with Italy.
Yeah, I feel like not only are they probably the more complete team right now, I just think there's a wave of emotion around this Italian side. You looked at Mancini after the game. they just all seem bang on it at the moment. So yeah, I think Spain will get their chances, but I think Italy will just have too much.
Okay, Kendall, what about you for this one?
Yeah, see, I think that's the thing. I think Italy are more complete. They've got the perfect balance of experience and like athleticism, agility. I think they've got all around, like they're just good. They've looked better than Spain this tournament, in my opinion. But again, Spain are they've done it already this whole tournament. They've managed to do it at the last minute. So yeah, I think it's going to be an equal game, but I think Italy just have that edge, and I think it's just going to take them through. So yeah, Italy for me as well, I think.
Okay, love that. Getting through a few comments here just before I come to Jay. We've got 2-1 Spain, 2-1 Spain, Italy 2-1. Then we've got 2-0 Italy 3-1. Going for an upset here. It's got Spain win on pens, 3-1 Italy. And then we've got Italy will nick it on pens. Wow, Jay, man, there's no pressure on you here because it's very, very split right now. What are you saying for us tonight?
Yeah, Italy as well, man. But I reckon it's got extra time
anticipation again. Oh, he's here.
Thinks Italy in extra time.
Italy. But
extra time. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it could be in for a long night here. Got Claudio. Oh, look, he's just arrived just in time as we're doing predictions. I love it. Great panel. Shout out all of you. Chiesa to score tomorrow and Italy to win 2-0. I'll be sharing pics in the group chat. I love that. I do want to just echo Cloud and just say something. Obviously, Cloud's my boy and all that. There was a question from Laurie who said, you know, I want Italy-England final for the friendship for me and Cloud. I will just confirm live on air, if Italy and England play each other in the final, I will send them a good luck message at 10 a.m. and we'll speak the following day. So, yeah, that is what's going to happen. Love it. And then we've got Roland says, here he is in regards to Cloud. Soup says, head says 1-0 Spain, but my gut says Italy 2-0. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to have to go with the majority and we're going to have to put Italy into the final.
I don't think it's going to be a cut and dry situation. I think I agree. It's either going to be extra time or penalties, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just with the way Spain have dragged out games over the whole tournament. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's going to be very interesting. I actually, personally, if I'm honest, I want Spain to win. I think Spain will have a lot of the ball, and I think it's quite annoying for me because I looked at Italy, and apart from Belgium, where they could test him by running them behind Doku and Lukaku, I think Italy's strengths lie higher up the pitch. And I think having a team against them that are going to run with players in behind with a bit of pace, I don't know if Spain are going to fully bring that because everyone knows they keep the ball. They play a lot of possession football. You've got Ferran Torres, Sarabia, Morata, more come-to-ball players. I think it might suit Italy. So, unfortunately, I think Italy will win, but I do want Spain to win, a bit like Kendall as well. But let's get into it now. 47 minutes in. We've probably got a nice 15 minutes to talk about England and will they make the final? We won 4-0 against Ukraine. Will we have a better opportunity than this to make a final? I was just, at my father-in-law's, and, he's a big West Ham fan, proper diehard England, and, he's never seen England make the final, yet he cheers all the time thinking, they can get there. Well, we all believe that we can get there this one. We've got Denmark at home at Wembley, 60,000 fans, which predominantly are going to be probably England fans. I don't think it's set up any easier for us to make a final. And this is no discredit to Denmark, of course, but, you're playing at Wembley and you're playing Denmark. And how I look at it is, forget that it's a semi-final. If we had Denmark in our group qualifying for a World Cup or Euros and we're playing them at home, we would expect to get the 3 points if it was a group game in the qualifiers. So I think if we lose this, we're going to be, very, very shocked and very, very pissed off, if I'm totally honest. So, Jay, I'm going to start you off because I haven't come to you first for a question yet. England versus Denmark. This is the chance to make the final. Talk to me. What do you want? What do you want to see? Can we do it? Let's go, man.
Yeah, that's standard. It's coming home. I'm not wary of Denmark, to be fair. I'm not wary of them. I reckon.
Okay.
I think at defence, Pickford, Maguire been solid. John Stones solid. Luke Shaw's had an incredible tournament. 3 assists so far in the tournament? Mustard. Rice, Phillips, solid in midfield. Obviously, you've got Mount coming back into the side. Sterling's been in class. Kane, last 2 games, has been, listen, he's got 3 goals last 2 games, yeah? He looks more like Harry Kane. So I think he's got a banging record as well against Kasper Schmeichel when they played against each other as well. So, what? I'm not worried of them. If we can get an early goal like we did against Ukraine, I think we'd open them up. I could see 3-0 still. I'm gonna go at 3-0 on Wednesday.
Straight in, going for the 3. Is Harry Kane gonna bag?
Yeah, Harry Kane's bagging first goal still.
Okay, there we go. We've heard it. Neverafoul. Harry Kane, first goal scorer. He's going with a nice, easy 3-0. Is there anything you want to see with Southgate in terms of team selection? You mentioned something earlier of Reece James. Can you just say it again? Because I weren't fully taking it in, but I want to take it in now.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Walker's good. I think Walker is better in when we play as a back 3, as a right centre back, and he play Reece James as a right wing back. I haven't seen nothing from him this tournament to suggest he should start. I'm not just saying Reece because he's Chelsea, but even against Ukraine, there was a moment in the penalty box and he just stood there, and an Ukrainian attacker got the ball and he's like, he didn't know where he was on the pitch. And I think we'll pick for that to make it went out for a corner. So I'd bring in Reece personally. And then obviously you've got Sancho on the right hand side.
Take me through your England team. Take me through your England team from the back.
What against Denmark? Pickford in goal, Shaw left back, Stones, Reece James, Rice, Mason, Sterling, Grealish.
Okay, he's going Grealish back in, Sterling on the right. Interesting. I think either way, that team can get the job done. Most definitely. Obviously, I know you want to see Reece James start. I understand it. Do I think he will? I don't know. He seems to be, liking the Trippier Walker combo at the moment. Not saying that James is a bad player at all. It's just about managers what they prefer on game day. But I think we've got a great selection of right backs. Sam, England, Denmark. The interesting thing for me is that Denmark's. By the way, people, if you're getting your comments in, my comments are frozen, so I'm not trying to not get them up. They've literally there's probably so many that they're not loading. So Sam, I don't know. Can you just check it? Are yours loaded?
I'm gonna give him a go now.
Yeah, because my last one come up was Azuri. Yeah, could you just go through them for me before I go into? I'll ask you the question after. Just go through them because I don't want people to think I'm ignoring them.
Yeah,
my last one froze. Yeah, because my last one froze at 8:53 and they haven't come through.
Right. Okay. My word. Okay, it's going to take us ages to go back for all of them, but yeah, loads of comments. Keep them coming through. Hit the likes and subscribe as well.
Through some May ones. Yeah, go through some May ones. Go on, it's cool.
Yeah, I've gone through a few, but in terms of how I think it's going to pan out, I think if you're going to get to a World Cup or a European semi-final, playing Denmark is pretty generous. Not that they don't deserve to be there. Still got some great players. You look at some of the clubs that these guys play for: Dortmund, Spurs, Leicester, Chelsea, AC Milan, Inter Milan. So
loaded.
Some really good, some really good experienced players in this Danish side. And actually, when we played them in the Nations League, they beat us 1-0 at Wembley. And we couldn't beat them away in Denmark either. We got a 0-0 draw. So still a really good side. But the way that England have been playing, the way that everything's kind of been clicking the last 2 games, I just think we have to get the job done. And the way the tournament's been structured for us, it's been a home tournament really. Yes, we've had that game away in Rome. We've barely travelled compared to any other teams. We've got these last 2 games now at home as well. It's basically been a home tournament for us. In terms of team selection, this is one of the hardest ones to guess, because against Germany, I was convinced he was going to go over back 5 or back 3, however you want to look at it. Against Ukraine, I thought he was going to go back 4, and he did. This one's a little different because Denmark have changed. Obviously, they usually play over 4. Eriksen's come out. They've changed it to a 3-4-3. They then changed it back and put Christensen in midfield against Wales. They changed it back again in the last game against Czech Republic. So if Southgate's going to try and match it up, I'm not sure even he knows how he's going to do that. So I think going with a back 4 is probably the best way to go. I don't think
what about Saka, by the way? I see Marion, a few people in the comments as well. Obviously, Saka started the game before and had a little knock. Is it the time to return him to the starting 11?
Do you know what? I would actually return with Saka, I think I would. I think I'd go 4-3-3. I think the back 4 picks itself. I mean, Jay said there about Reece James. Reece James is a quality player, but I just think that relationship with Shaw, Maguire, Stones and Walker, they play together so much now, not just as a 4, but those little relationships for clubs. I think that helps. And against that left-hand side, where Denmark have got a lot of pace, if they play Milo at left full-back and Damsgaard, we're going to just need that explosive and anti-counter-attacking machine that I call Kyle Walker. So I think he will be useful in this one. Rice and Phillips in midfield with Mason Mount, who I thought was quality when he came back in against Ukraine as well. And then Sterling, Kane and Saka. I think Saka deserves it off his performance against Germany and Czech Republic. I think you could maybe argue a Grealish or a Foden, but I think Foden is probably kind of, he hasn't got the momentum of other players. I think he did a job the first 2 games, wasn't spectacular because that's just the way the side were playing. But yeah, I think Saka actually deserves it. I do. And I think actually Grealish to come off the bench.
These Arsenal fans are going to love you tonight.
A good option. Yeah, I think, yeah. No, I like Saka. He's done a good job. And I think actually in the first 45, 60 minutes of a game, I think actually Saka, despite his age, brings a real kind of maturity and a bit of stability on that right-hand side, I think, compared to some of the other forwards that we've got. So, yeah, and I think Grealish off the bench is our wild card, really, if needed.
Perfect. There we go. Kendall, Dev spoke. It's now time for you to speak. Question for you before obviously give us your generic thoughts as well. It's England, obviously we're all English here, so I want to see what your thoughts on a team and how it should go. My question for you is, you mentioned it very well there. Damsgaard's come into the team for Denmark since obviously, unfortunately, it's very sad what happened with Eriksen. It's great to see that he's out of hospital and everything well with his family. Mail has been really impressive for me. The wing backs for Denmark, they play a 3-4-3. Now, my question is, we matched up Germany because they play the same back three. Now, Denmark play a back three as well. Do you want Southgate to go to a back three and, challenge them like he did with Germany and say, right, we got and beat them and match them? Or do you want us to say, right, we've beat Ukraine 4-0, let's stick with a back four? And that's for you guys in the comments as well. Denmark play a back three. Do you want Southgate to change it or do you want Southgate to stick with the back four? Kendall, what's your thoughts?
I don't think we've been tested in terms of really running out a game like we will be against Denmark. I don't think we've been tested in terms of tiredness. I don't think we've always been the team that have tired the other team out, whereas it's going to be a completely different ball game this time around. I thought Southgate got the Germany game spot on, considering everybody was moaning about it beforehand. I thought he got it spot on in terms of matching it up. But as Sam said, Denmark do switch up their formation, and they have done throughout the tournament a little bit. So we don't even really know what they're going to do. I completely agree. I don't know if it was J or Sam said that Kyle Walker's better in the back three. I absolutely categorically agree with that. I think he's better in the right side of the back three. I don't think for him, despite the fact like he plays there for City, I don't think for England, a flat right back is where he belongs in this England squad, if that makes sense. But I think John Stones reads him extremely well, so that when Kyle Walker makes a mistake, John Stones is always there to cover. We saw that in the game the other day when Kyle Walker made a mistake and no one kind of knew who was going to clear it. Pickford didn't clear it, and obviously Walker and Stones were there to bounce off each other and clear the ball then. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure. I am not against Saka coming back in the squad. I think he's absolutely deserved it. He's a star boy for me. I think he's brilliant. And, everyone loves him. Everyone just loves him around. Like we've seen it the past week. Luke Shaw said, I love him like he's my child. Like, everyone just loves him. And I think him coming into the squad will obviously give everyone a little boost as well, despite the fact that as well his ability is brilliant. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how we approach this game. Maybe it's not the time to come in with a back five now. I don't know. But then again, on the other hand, as I've said, we haven't been tested athletically like we will be on Wednesday against
they've got a bit of pace, a bit of physicality. Yeah, I get you. Yep.
And they're constant, like as I said, they're incessant. They just drive forward. They're going to win. That's it. They're not bothered about how they play or what they do. They go to win. So yeah, I think it'll be very, very interesting. And I wouldn't like to be the one who was picking that team at all, because it's obviously.
So what are you going with then? A back three or a back four?
I think I would stick with the back four, and if it's not working, you've always got the option to bring on the likes of Trippier. But obviously, if it's not working defensively, but you've got a problem if it's not working defensively, because then you're going to have to change your whole mindset going to the game. So I think I would just stick with the back four. I think my team will be exactly the same as Sam's: Rice, Phillips, Mount, Saka, Kane, and Sterling. I think that will be my team as well. Bring Grealish on, maybe. Depending on how the game's going, if it's settled by 65 minutes, we don't need a Grealish, whatever. But if not, I'll bring him on just for a bit of injection, a bit of pace, energy. So yeah, I think we've got options, and I did see someone's comment as well saying that we've got way more squad depth coming off the bench, which is going to be play to our advantage 100%, because if they're tired, we've always got like another 3, you know, fantastic players who are going to come on. So yeah, I think that definitely works to our advantage 100%.
Perfect. There you go. You've heard it from Sam, Jay, and Kendall. People, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button as well. You're watching Neverafoul right now. The numbers have been great for this show, so we massively do appreciate it. And to be fair, I expected it. England are in the semi-finals, people. We've got to gas it up a little bit. We've got to gas it up. I've got one more question to go around the clock and also get your thoughts in, people, as well, especially because you know it's in the headline as well. I haven't asked it yet. I had to come to the team news first. Just going to get through a few comments right now on that question. If it ain't broke, don't change it. Trust Gareth. Sancho shouldn't start. Same lineup against Denmark as it was against Ukraine. Let me get through these quickly. So the mouse is moving mad because the comments are absolutely flying in. Where are they? Wow, there's loads to get through. I'll try and get through as many as I can, people. Bear with me a moment. I forgot Denmark lost to Finland. Walker is our best right back all round. He's defo starting. I'm not too sure if he'd be a defo starting. Roland says, come on, Mass. On paper, Walker is great, but this tourney, I'm not sure. Cass says thumbs up on that one. Denmark lost to Belgium. Yeah, they did take the lead against Belgium and Belgium come back. Love this one as well, of course. Thanks to everyone locking in. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. You can follow myself, Sam, Jay, and Kendall, and you can see us on the Neverafoul Twitter of all our ats there. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe as well. It's been a great panel. I've been loving it tonight. Lambs is doing my job tonight. Proper wind-up merchant. I know, Lambs, I'm seeing these comments from you, I'm just slightly not getting them up. She's loving it. I see one earlier about if Christensen scores. Hey, look at her. You also forgot Portugal lost their first 2 games and went on to win it. It's true. Actually, I think they drew in that tournament. And then another one here. There's no way Sancho and Foden are touching pitch over Saka. It's not happening. If they deserved it, I would pick them, but they have been very average. So yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think, do you know what? I'm not going to really say too much on the team. You know, as a host, I've asked you guys what your team selection would be, but I think what stands out to me the most is England's bench. And I think the game that sums it up, that benches are so sufficient in this tournament, is the Italy-Austria game. Big up the Neverafoul event, which we did, me, Dat, Soups, and Chris as well, which obviously we had great. Obviously, all you guys there, a lot of people in the comments as well. That was the night Italy played Austria, and we all saw that the game went to extra time. And what was the difference? It was the bench. I think Austria made only 2 subs that whole game, whereas Italy were able to ring the changes. And unfortunately, all of us kind of knew that, you know, that would pay dividends, and it certainly did. And I feel like with this game, the longer it goes, England will have the ammunition. And I don't want it to go into extra time. None of us do. We want a lovely win. We want to go into Sunday cruising, loads of energy. But unfortunately, I do feel like with Holberg and Delaney in midfield, they are going to make it tough. They're not creators, but they're certainly going to give it their all. And I think with Rice and Phillips for us, and then Delaney and Holberg, you've kind of got 2 when I look at the setup, you've got 2 midfields that are kind of the same. They sort of break up play midfielders and give it. None of them are that creative. So it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, them and their 3-4-3 and us with Mason Mount in the middle, who can create the key chances. I think we've got the more killers. I know we've got Kane, Sterling, and obviously it'll be Saka. I'm guessing maybe on the right. We don't know, obviously, of course. But I think if we get into them final moments and we create the killer chances, we will create the killer goals. But if it's 1-1 or 2-2 or 0-0 heading into the 70th minute, we have got the changes to make, you know, make an impact in the game. 60,000 there as well, so we're going to be roaring it home, like I said earlier in the show. And I think Boris has announced today that for the Premier League, we're going to have full stadiums back. So yes, people, we can start going to games in full again. But one question I wanted to ask just before we do our predictions and round it off with our last thoughts on the England is Luke Shaw currently the best left back in the world? And again, I'm not just trying to say this because I'm a Man United fan. We've seen so many comments flying up at the moment, up and down the country, about Luke Shaw's form. He got 2 assists against Ukraine. Jay has already had enough because the name's not Ben Shaw. But unfortunately, we've got to talk about it. People, is Luke Shaw the best left back in the world currently at the moment? Kendall, I'll come to you first. Obviously, a Newcastle fan, but we're talking about, you know, football and a balance thing here. No biasness. Is Luke Shaw the best left back in the world currently?
I think the world is maybe a little bit premature. I think he's had a fantastic season. I think he's had a great tournament so far. Obviously, the likes of Andy Robertson we can't really talk about because, you know, it didn't last in the tournament. And, you know, Kieran Tierney, things like that, we can't speak about them because, you know, things happened so where they didn't get through. So we can't speak about them in this tournament. I think Luke Shaw's mentality to come back from the injury that he had a couple of years ago, you know, he broke his leg. came back through a lot of criticism about his weight, about the way that he handled himself. And to come back and be on the form that he has been all season and to come into the tournament and carry that form through is absolutely incredible. Really, really, really incredible. So yeah, I think the world might be a little bit premature. Maybe right now on form he might be. But yeah, I think he's really, really, really done wonders this tournament. And I think the England squad's so much different with him in it.
Love that. Love that. So right now he is your best left back in the world, yeah?
I'm not going to go that far. I can't give you someone who's like...
Hey, look, she's thinking everyone's watching. I'm putting her under pressure. She's under pressure.
Right now on form, he might be.
Love that. There we go. So we've kind of got a 1-0 in favour of Luke Shaw, currently the best left back in the world. A couple of comments before I come to you, Jay, because I know he's itching to get involved. Just got Andrew Robertson here. Double A says, get it right. It's Roberto Carlos. I was saving that for when I speak, man, but of course I've got to get it in Roberto Carlos right now.
Real, man. Roberto Carlos commenting on his pictures and that.
Yeah. Oh, it's real. It's getting real. It's getting real.
Yeah. Also, Laurie's like took the words out of my mouth with Laurie. One of, but not the best. Yes, I agree. I think he's up there.
He's up there. Okay, now I hear it. Without a doubt, Roberto Carlos is the best right now. Suits is egging you. Go on, say it. Ollie Gunner, Southgate, and then Zinchenko said, "Come outside." By the way, brilliant tournament for Zinchenko as well. But yeah, I'm sorry, he's not on shore levels yet. Jay, you look Wait, Daps, if you're here right now, screenshot this face of him because he looks disgusted at this comment. Jay, you're already going to say no, and tell me why you're going to say no.
No, I think he's been mustered this tournament, but you man just get ahead of yourselves real quick, bruv. Like you're disrespecting one of the greatest left backs in the world in the same bracket, Carlos. Like simmer down a bit, bruv. Simmer down. Like it's a madness. My man's got like how long's he been in the Premier League? I think he's got 11 assists, bruv, in the how many years? And you're comparing him to Roberto Carlos.
Unloaded.
Come on, man. Like enjoy him. Enjoy him this season. Enjoy him in the Euros because he's been absolutely mustard, yeah. But don't start comparing him to Roberto Carlos, one of the all-time greats, bruv. Like, just enjoy him in it, man. Like, it's madness, bruv. Because I watched him in Europa League final, bro. And man weren't packing no heat in the Europa League final, innit? So just settle, peace, literally, man. It's madness. It's madness. Just enjoy him. That's all I can say, man. One season and you're jumping the gun. It's a madness.
I love it. I love it. We've got Roland who says Jay Shaw over J. Cole. No. I respect the comments, man. It's been a great pod tonight. I love that, Jay, as well, giving your comments. Right now, can I ask you, Jay, though, on form, obviously, I know we're just talking, obviously, England, but away from that, do you think Shaw over Chilwell right now as we're speaking?
Well, I can't right now, obviously, because he's gone starting.
No.
Before,
Say it was before the Euro. Say before the Euro, just before the Euro started.
I think they're neck and neck. I think there's not much between them, if I'm being really honest. I think they're both quality left backs. Depends if you're playing the three at the back. I think Chilwell is better to play as a left wing back. Shaw probably suits a back four better. But then I don't know because Chilwell was better as a left back.
Sorry, Roland. You need to chill with that comment. No way. Ashley Cole, don't disrespect him ever. Sorry.
He's just trying to get a fifth on the end of his rod. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I think they're neck and neck, bruv. Like if you watch Chilwell, especially second half of the season and the beginning of the season, he was mustard for us. Like under Lampard, he was probably one of our best players. And then under Tuchel towards the end, especially in that Champions League run in the quarter semis and the final against Manchester City, like he was 10-10, same as Reece James. So I don't think there's much between them personally, but obviously right now, Shaw the one's starting and getting his flowers in it. So I'm not going to hate on him. The guy's been quality.
Yeah, I hear it, man. I love it. I wanted to ask this one because I knew the comments would boot off with this one as well, which it has. Sam smiling his way. So, Sam, before we end the show, I know we've got about 5-10 minutes left. What's your thoughts on Luke Shaw? Because, yes, right now, I look at the left backs and I actually think other than like Robertson, obviously, there is Turney, there's Theo Hernandez, who's had a really good season for AC Milan. And I'm very surprised France didn't take him to the Euros, by the way, Theo Hernandez. Right now, is Luke Shaw currently the best left back in the world? And take away, obviously, I know you're a Man City fan. We're just talking here on form right now. Do you feel he is, or do you think it is a bit overhyped?
I think he's in unbelievable form. I think he's had his best season so far, and I think he's hit the level where I think everyone thought he would reach when he was like 18 coming through Southampton. Everyone was like, yes, Luke Shaw, he's going to be England's left back for the next 10 years. That's what everyone was saying, and he was unbelievable. Had that horrific injury. Mourinho then threw him under the bus, completely ruined his reputation, really, from a casual fan point of view. And he's had to come back through all that. And he's put together a really good season. I think he's been the best left back in the Premier League this season in terms of consistency from start to finish. Obviously, you can throw team honours in there and how you judge an individual off their team honours. That's a whole different debate for a different day. But for me, Luke Shaw was the best left back in the league this season in the Premier League. But in terms of this tournament, I think he's stood out. But it's definitely been a tournament of left backs. We spoke about Spinazzola on here. We've spoken about Milo on here. We've seen Zinchenko pop in the comments. I actually think Jordi Alba's been really good for Spain, but people just expect it because it's Jordi Alba. So
Great shot.
In terms of being the best left back in the world, I think he's put himself in the conversation because we're having it now. But I think when you're putting that tag on somebody, you need to see it for years and years. So if Luke Shaw, how was he now? 25, still very young.
Yeah, it's surprising. You think he's older? Yeah, he's 25.
If he's putting this level now in for the next 3-4 years, should we say, and then he turns around, he's 29, and he's got Champions Leagues like David Alaba and Jordi Alba, and all the rest of it, Marcelo,
and Chilwell.
Then you can have that conversation.
Fuck you, know. Love it.
Jimmy Traore. For me, he's almost unlucky in my eyes because he hasn't been the standout left back because there's been so many good left backs have all been grouped together.
Yeah, I think bang on, man. I think there's been a lot of good wing backs this tournament.
Yeah, unbelievable tournament for left backs, which is mad, really.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think me touching obviously on Luke Shaw at the moment. Double A says if Shaw is still playing at this level in 12 months' time, the argument will hold more weight. And I think I'm not going to lie. Hopefully, people see me as a non-biased Man United fan. I always talk on football. I'm a football fan first, and then I talk Man United. And I think at the end of the day, Luke Shaw is flying, and I think for him to be thrown under, like Mourinho did with him, and to show that mental toughness. Because I'm not going to say he's quite fragile, but we've seen moments in him where he is quite fragile. His head goes down when he used to get subbed under Mourinho. I love Luke Shaw. The season he had his leg break, which I think was away at PSV Eindhoven, I was distraught because he was flying under Louis van Gaal that season. And when he came back, he hit a bit of form, then he had weight issues, and he was in and out of the side. I think there's one thing about football you need is momentum. You can't be going in and out of work. It's like changing your job every few months. It's just you're not going to be settled. And I think right now, Ollie's come in, and as the manager, he said, you know what? I believe in your ability. I know why we signed you. I know what you were like before you had your leg break. Now go out there and show it. And I saw something today about Harry Maguire. If you think of Harry Maguire, he's predominantly a right centre-back, but he's actually had to play left centre-back for Man United. And that's why you've seen him play left centre-back for England, because apparently they've built up a really good relationship. He demands a lot of him. He backs him. And I think you're seeing that for England, and you're also seeing that for Manchester United. And Luke Shaw right now is playing the best football of his life. And I think how I sum it up is, yes, Andy Robertson had a good 2.5 seasons for Liverpool, and he's still a great player now. But I think the standard of left backs right now isn't super high. So I think if a player has a good 3 or 4 months, all of a sudden you're the best in the world. And I'm saying that now for Luke Shaw. I can say it for Andy Robertson. You can say it for Chilwell. You can say it for a lot of players. I think there's a lot of players in that sort of bracket where they're having spells and all of a sudden you're the best. I think right now Luke Shaw is one of the best, but I think like A said there, I think he summed up perfectly. You need to be, showing that consistency for 12 months. And I know people say, oh, it's not a trophy thing, but a couple of trophies do add to your suitcase. Do you know what I mean? If you're going on a plane without no trophies, and it's going to be empty. If you're going on there with a few, then you're going to be obviously carrying a lot of weight. So I think it's great that Luke Shaw's on form, and I think it's great for England as all of us as football fans that he's in this form, and hopefully he continue it in the semi-final and into the final. And I think it'll be very interesting as well to see how Saka gets on next season, because obviously he started off as a left back and then he's gone obviously into the wing positions as well. But if he played at left back more, people probably saying how great he is. So I think it's great that there's a left back battle right now, but England are in the semi-finals. And before we end the show, we've got to do our great prediction, because guys, who makes the final? Is it England or Denmark? Is it just going to be unanimous? Or are we just going to be supporting the club that we love?
Of course. You've got to back it. You've got to back your team, man.
We're back in the waistcoat.
100%.
It's got to be
100%.
the way we're going to go. England, Italy. And by the way, people, if you just tuned in right now, make sure you're smashing the like and subscribe button. One thing I do want to get out there is we're from Bedford, where we set up Neverafoul. And Bedford has the second most Italians outside of London. Actually, the most Italians outside of London. So if they win their semi-final and we do, I recommend you lot all coming up together and we pack out the town. That's what I'm going to suggest, because honestly, if Italy win tomorrow, they're going to be going all the way down the embankment. You've probably seen videos as well online. They literally pack it out, beat their horns, they kick the police out of the ends. Literally, it's like mental. So hopefully, obviously, Spain can do a job tomorrow. But if it's England and Italy final, it is going to be crazy. Say that again, Jay?
I didn't speak.
Oh, I thought someone spoke. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Did you say something? Anyone say something?
I think there's a bit of feedback on your mic, I think it was.
Oh, a bit of feedback on my mic. But yeah, it would be an absolutely carnage final. But hopefully, England can make the semi-final. Before we wrap it up, Kendall, is there anything you want to say to cheer on the England? Any words you want to inspire Southgate with if he randomly watches this podcast tomorrow morning?
Can you imagine just watching that? I've just completely called the World Cup Bruce. I'm sure that's enough to make anybody go out and win against anyone. Just go on, let's just do it. No, I just want us to do it. Like, I've not seen us really have any success. The last thing we won was 1966. And I wasn't even like thought of at that point. My parents weren't even born. So like, you know, we've got to just go and do it. As we all said, best route that we could have possibly asked for really at this point. But you know, it's typical England to fall at the last hurdle. So I hope that this time it's different. Southgate, you know, he's got his redemption against Germany. There's no reason why he can't go on to do it. I think this is the best chance we've got now. So as long as we go out with a positive mindset, like on 100, just good vibes and go out and do it, I think we'll be fine.
Love that. Love that. Kendall is confident going into Wednesday night. Jay, them last inspiring words, man. We're in a semi-final. Denmark Wednesday night. Lay it out on the table.
It's coming home, mate. Bosh. Simple as. Next Sunday, we're going to spank Italy, send them in. Denmark will be done Wednesday night. Listen, I'm in the exact same spot that I was for Chelsea, Man City, yeah? Same spot, bro. Fulham Road, same pub, everything, yeah? It's home. Trust me. We'll be celebrating next Sunday night. Believe that.
There we go. Love it. He's superstitious. He's staying in the same spot as them. Wins keep coming and flying for England. Sam, round it out for us, man. England, Denmark. Any last words for Sterling? Any of your boys, John Stones, or the whole squad?
I think everyone. What's been quite nice that we put club rivalries aside a little bit, but it's kind of it's burst back out a bit tonight. But I think that's just natural. But I think it's nice that everyone's coming together, back in the team, and I feel like, you know, we've had some golden generation players before and some real superstars, but this team feels really likable compared to maybe some others of the past. And I feel like the manager as well, Southgate, I think this is a really, really big one for him, because if we make a final for the first time in 55 years, then Southgate's going to get a hell of a lot of credit, and he'll go down as probably one of the best England managers if he wins on Wednesday night. Like, it sounds daft.
Wow,
He probably will. But then if he loses on the flip side, people will say 2 semi-finals, lost against Croatia and Denmark. Like, it's going to flip straight away. But you know what? I'm confident we can do it. And yeah, I hope the boys perform on Wednesday night.
Love that. Cass and Jay crack me up with their little rivalries in the comments, man, every single time. I love it. It's been a great show, man. I massively appreciate everyone coming on. Sam, Jay, Kendall tonight. Kendall, before you go, of course, you plugged it at the start of the show. Obviously, it's been great having a podcast with you on as well, especially going into a semi-final. Hopefully, plenty to come over then this season, 21-22. But yeah, plug all your stuff. Let people know where they can find you, because you'll definitely be coming back on again as well anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for having me again. It's been great. If you want to catch me over at the Football Terrace, you can. Just the Football Terrace on YouTube. If you want to follow my socials, it's just Kendall Rowan on everything. And also YouTube as well, so catch me there.
Love that. Jay, obviously you're part of Neverafoul, one of the hosts as well, but you've got a Chelsea podcast which you're going to be coming back again strong and hard after the Euro. So plug it, man. Let people know where they can find you and the Chelsea podcast as well. Once again, big up for coming on.
Yeah, no, big up Kendall, Sam, and Ty, obviously. Blue Wave next season, obviously find us on Neverafoul channel on YouTube, the Blue Wave _Neverafoul on Twitter, and obviously CFCJ _ on Twitter. Big up everyone in the comments, minus a couple of people. But yeah, no, big love.
I love it, man. Straight to it, raw, different. What's it called then? Sam, of course. Big up Jay, big up Kendall every single time, and yourself, Sam. Yeah, let people know where they can find you. Obviously, a Man City fan by heart as well, and you'll be getting a lot of content out over the summer. So yeah, plug all your stuff, man. Yeah, definitely. Me and my man Luke, we're bringing out all the City content when the Euros is over.
can see the Twitter on there. Follow it at NAF_. Feed the goat and my personal Twitter on there as well. And yeah, just wicked panel, wicked insight. And thank you very much for hosting as well, Mr. MC Tyrone.
MC Tyrone, I love that. Might have to flip the app round, MC Tyrone instead. But nah, do you know what? That summed it up perfectly, man. Like I say, I love hosting, love doing these shows. Kendall, Jay, Sammy, been great tonight. And I always say, without the people in the comments, it's never a show as well. So, you know, we appreciate you guys watching every single time, because you could be, you know, watching Love Island right now, but you're not. You're still stuck with Neverafoul, which is great. So, people, you've been watching Neverafoul Euro 2020 preview. England are in the semi-finals against Denmark tomorrow. I love it as well. This comment here, Magic Mike says it's really been something tonight. Big up, man. Big up you guys every single time. And like I said, make sure you're sticking with us. Hopefully we might be doing a watch long tomorrow. No, tomorrow we'll be doing a watch long. Sorry, I'll be doing it with Cass and Double A. So that should be a big watch long for the Italy-Spain game. And then we're trying to sort out something for England. But of course, we know everyone wants to go out and enjoy it and vibes. But make sure you stick with Neverafoul over the summer and heading into the new season. We'll be bringing new guests, new shows, and we'll be giving you new blows. So yes, come on England. Let's go and beat Denmark. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the other side. Thank you very much.
Ty's gone.
No, he was gone. He's just flipped off straight away. He's gone. Bye.